Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here tonight with the final video of the night, talking about WWE's episode of Chronicles following Bill Goldberg in 2019 and his historic return to WWE. Bill Goldberg, honestly, when I think about it, is one of the biggest names that was involved in professional wrestling. He honestly wrestled in one of the biggest matches that I ever got a chance to see live. Which, when I basically tell people that I was at Goldberg versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan's edition of Monday Nitro, where Goldberg won the WCW championship for the first time. That is like an historic thing that people, my buddy Jim Knight, still asks me to this day what the building felt like when I was there. I'm probably never going to see anything that historic at a live show again, never going to be that lucky. But that being said, Bill Goldberg has never been one of my most favorite guys. I understood when WWE brought him back in 2003, 2004, for his 1 year run where he became champion and had his feud basically with Triple H, and then left after his match at WrestleMania 20 against Brock Lesnar. I really honestly understand that WWE was looking for anything to recapture some of the Monday Night War, trying to get that feel of WCW being involved with WWE after the so-called failed Invasion run of 2002. Or I guess that was 2001, I apologize. But, I didn't really know why Goldberg came back for the Universal Championship run, where he won the championship from Kevin Owens, then put the title on the line against Brock Lesnar. I guess before that he came back and he had the one match, which was like a commercial for the video game against Brock Lesnar. That match, I understood. Come back and do the one. But it was almost like WWE thought that worked so well that they were like, let's put the championship on him. Let's have him do the match at WrestleMania. And Bill Goldberg talks about it at the beginning of the episode. The match against Brock did not turn out the way that he thought it was going to. It was supposed to be like that feel-good ending of his career moment, having making up for the WrestleMania 20 match. He was basically going to drop the championship. I think everybody knew that, but it just was an ass-kicking that he was not ready to take. At the next year, he went into the WWE Hall of Fame, something that I honestly wish that they would have gone into a little bit. Wrestlers were leaving at an historic amount when Goldberg was on the stage. Goldberg is somebody that a lot of the wrestlers involved in WWE watched during the Monday Night War era. Somebody that they probably look up to. A lot of people at that time sort of looked at it as, WWE looking down on them bringing in main eventers that are part-timers, that are not really part of the roster, mainly thinking that maybe Goldberg didn't interact with the superstars, and that was their way of speaking out against it. At one point, at the Super Showdown in Jeddah, Goldberg walked out to take a look at them setting up the arena and actually had a conversation with Rusev, Kofi Kingston, and a member of the Usos, and it didn't really seem like he wasn't welcome to be there. So for the most part, this covers three things in 2019. It mostly talks about Goldberg coming back and announcing the match against Undertaker, him having the match against Undertaker, and then coming back to wrestle against Dolph Ziggler. This basically takes place over 4 days, I guess you could say. Goldberg comes back to be a part of WWE after being asked by Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon basically to come in and be a part of the Super Showdown. In my mind, Goldberg was one of the guys that is chasing after that big Saudi Arabia money. I looked at it as that's the only reason that he came in to do this. In his words, he basically says that, I did the last run for WWE because they asked him for a favor, but this run he's doing for himself because of the fact he wanted to have a match against The Undertaker. He didn't really care that, fans are kind of crapping on it, saying that it's 20 years too late. You add both of these guys' ages together, they're well over 100 years old. But Goldberg comes back, gets ready, trains for this match, gets 100% all go, and he is just all talk. The only thing about this that I think most people like me were watching at home were laughing hysterically because they knew how bad this match really turned out. And this match did not last long. It had to have been less than 3 to 4 minutes. But it was almost like, as a fan that was watching at home, I was throwing in the towel from thousands and thousands of miles away a minute into this match, knowing that there was no way the Undertaker and Goldberg were going to save it. I really wish we would have seen some of the backstage interactions after that match, because it was said that, Goldberg was going off on everybody, just trying to point blame at everybody. But the next time we see him is 2 months later, when he is making his return to Monday Night Raw, where he's being set up for a match against Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam. A match that, honestly, I still do not know why WWE thought was going to make sense. People look at that match like it was a masterpiece, like it was the best thing of SummerSlam 2019. I didn't think it fit the card at all. I didn't think that basically The Miz having Goldberg step in for him at SummerSlam was a good replacement. I don't know, but Goldberg really appreciated his chance to reign in the sun yet once again, bringing his comeback. He talked a little bit about going through a mild depression for 3 weeks after coming back from Saudi Arabia, after the Undertaker match, not working out, not picking up weight, just sinking into just nothing. And then here he was coming back and finding out the day of the match that his trunks didn't fit because he didn't have enough time to have a real comeback. They basically had to make him a set of trunks the day of, where they took his set of trunks that he brought, his sponsorship, I guess you can say, logo. They had to take off of the one shorts and put onto the other one, and everybody put it together for him at the last minute. Goldberg got the win when he walked back through the set, and he was backstage with Vince and Stephanie and Triple H. He yelled to the whole cast and crew to thank you. He really appreciated it. It seemed like it was a real, truthful thing. He was putting over guys like Fit Finlay in the back for putting his match together, and basically giving a lot of thanks to Paul Heyman. I think as of right now, Goldberg has a real place to hang his career. He's basically going to go out with what he thinks is a good match. The only thing is, if WWE is going to bring him back for one more run or one more match, and that's just where it continues to go up and down. In my mind, that's what I think about with Mick Foley. Mick Foley, had his goodbye match at the Hell in a Cell against Triple H. I think it was No Mercy 2000, but I'm not 100% sure that was the name of the show. And then right away, WWE brings him back for WrestleMania 16, where he's involved in the Fatal 4-Way. He's the first guy. He might have been the second guy. Anyways, he gets eliminated. He doesn't really do anything in the match that makes you really think about it. And it was just basically like he kept on chasing, having that one more match to sort of hang his career on, but he would come back. He would have the good match, sort of like him versus Orton. Then all of a sudden, WWE would think, oh, Foley still has it. We need to get the most out of Foley before he's done. Brings him back, has a bad match, has to chase the good match. It never really reaches the high of Foley versus Orton again. But they just keep bringing him back time after time, just trying to chase what it was. So the Goldberg, thing, probably the most memorable thing is I guess you can say, the face-off between Matt Riddle and Goldberg, which was a confrontation that we had heard about and basically read word for word from the sheets. Now that I've seen it and it's a part of the WWE Chronicles biography, I honestly think the whole thing was a set-up sham. Basically how word for word. It was released to the dirt sheets months ago. And now we can see that, yeah, it was true, but now I believe that, yeah, it's 100% fake. Will they ever do anything with Riddle versus Goldberg? I don't think they will. They really need something to spice it up on NXT, so they gotta wonder if they're gonna swallow their pride and put Goldberg on an edition of NXT, and maybe they can do Goldberg versus Riddle there to sort of conquer the AEW thing. Hey, WWE's got the money. WWE can do it. So if anywhere, that's where. And maybe they can win, a quarter hour or something like that. It's having some sort of a confrontation between the two. But as of right now, I think that whole thing's 100% phony. And they were really just kept on just trying to one-up each other. And that's just, it's like when you see two guys in the schoolyard that, say they're going to fight, but they keep running their mouth. And they run their mouth to the point where they're not going to fight. And the comebacks that are coming back and forth between the two are just so bad that you lose interest and you just walk away because no one's going to throw a punch. That's basically what Goldberg versus Riddle was backstage at SummerSlam. So we'll see what goes down with this one, but I loved it. I thought it was a good episode. 30 minutes was a good amount of time. And Goldberg is somebody that I don't even really like that much. So good job, WWE. Chronicles Goldberg.